welcome back to my channel. Today I have some plants to pot and I thought it would be a fun time to do a Q&A. So I've asked on Instagram and Twitter for your questions to me. They are varied, so I'm looking forward to this. And I'm gonna get these plants potted up so that they are ready to be put throughout the house. So I've actually had most of them for quite a while, except for this one. This is a Monstera obliqua, and the poor little thing has arrived with damage all over its leaves. They're all brown at the edges, so I'm hoping a little bit more space in a pot is just what it needs to come back to health, because nobody wants a sad Monstera. So to set the scene, it's Friday afternoon. The cool winter sun is just setting over the rooftops out that way. I can hear all the birds in the trees, but it's too cold to have the back door open, which is a real shame because it just sounds lovely out there, and the sun is really nice, but there's enough chill in the air that I am not going to sit here with the door open. So let's get the first question up. My friend has a puppy. Look at that. Oh, how can you resist? He's going to be in the vlog. So I should say, I haven't actually been vlogging for a couple of weeks because I'm really far behind with the vlog editing, and I just kept making more vlogs, and so continuing to be really far behind. So I thought one way to fix that would be to not vlog for a while, but to make a different kind of video. So I will be making like a catch-up video. So I've vlogged all the interesting days that I've had, but I haven't vlogged like entire weeks. So there'll be one catch-up video. Then fingers crossed, by the time we're going into 2018, everything will be absolutely fine. So the first question comes from Katie and the Noisemakers. Katie says, I work for myself and have two small boys. Half of their family are abroad, and she'd love to make weekly or even holiday or weekend vlogs that they could share with everybody, as it'd be an easy way to keep everyone up to date and a lovely memory for everyone to have. So she would like some tips on vlogging to achieve that. So let me open this bag up. Easy open. Let me just show you that. Whoa, I brought the scissors over, but there's no need. Easy open. Okay, it's easy open, and apparently it spits mud at you when you do that. Anyway, I've just oh Jesus, there's a spider in there.
All the things out of the pot.
Yeah, and make sure no spiders are touching them. Well, this is a horrifying twist to the video format. I apologise to everyone who's been traumatised by this situation. Oh, it's massive.
Whatever it was.
Thank you. That, yeah, I don't think I can survive that. Okay, right, normal service will resume now that the emergency spider squad have been in. Thank you very much, Mr. Cat, for being the best spider rescuer ever. So, vlogging tips. I think when you're making films with a small family, the key is to have whatever you're making films with close to you. So whether it's like the little camera that I'm filming on now that I carry around with me everywhere, or your phone, just make sure you've got lots of memory, backup batteries, and that you get it out when things happen. I also think for family vlogs, it's really nice if you film like the everyday moments, the things that aren't big or showy, as well as the big and showy moments, because it's sitting around the table having a conversation, or that last minute in bed before you say goodnight. Those are the things that you really want to remember, and those are the things that sort of the intimate family moments that you're not going to get anywhere else. Now, one of the things that I am really keen to do for the children, because I share all of my videos publicly, is that I always make sure that I have their consent for anything I share. So if they're in the video, they get to have pre-approval on whether you see that. So it might seem like we share quite a lot of what they do, but actually there's plenty more child gold that doesn't even make it into the video because they don't feel comfortable sharing it, which is 100% fine. And I think, you know, that's the only way that you can have a public life with young children. Now, they might be super young, in which case you kind of have to make a judgment call on that. Just squeeze this little fella in here. There we go. This is rather a nice little pot. So it's like a half hexagon, and then it goes into this frame and hangs on the wall. So now when it comes to actual filmmaking techniques, I would say invest time in learning how to edit, whether that's on your phone or on your desktop. If you are a Mac user, you can use iMovie for free. If you're a PC user, you can use Windows Movie Maker. I personally use the Adobe Creative Suite, so I have Adobe Premiere Pro to edit my videos, and this is because I pay for Adobe Creative Suite anyway, so it was just natural for me to use that. It's an unbelievably good piece of software. I mean, they use it to make television shows and what have you, so yeah, you can really trust it. I'm just gonna go in with my hand. My other piece of advice would be about technique. If you are not feeling confident about your technique, number one thing is, like, shoot loads, watch loads and shoot loads. Try out other people's techniques. See if you can replicate things that they've done in their videos. Just be really curious about what you can do with your videos, or take a class. So places like Skillshare are quite good, but if we're talking about a video class, I would personally recommend Xanthi Barkley's classes, because she is a blooming genius. She comes and teaches videos at Blogtacular with us. I love her to bits. You'll see her in the vlog. So obviously you know that I have some affiliation there, but no affiliate link. So if you want to sign up to one of her classes, they will be linked in the description down below. So good luck with that, Katie. I hope you have lots of fun. Now you have another question. So Katie also asks, do I have any recommendations for clothing shops besides Bodum? She shares my love of colour and all things bright and bold, but finds it really difficult to find stuff in plus size. Well, I'm with you there, Katie. This year I have found plus size shopping to be a nightmare. Bodum have limited their largest sizes, so I'm buying less from them anyway because I just don't fit into it. I'm a little bit sore about that. I've mentioned it a few times, but that's just the way it is. It's obviously a commercial decision, not a personal one by Johnny to stop me wearing his clothes. Can't say. But yes, anyway. Oh look, that looks lovely, doesn't it? So that's going to go on the wall in my office. I think it's a case of really trawling every single shop, maybe once or twice a month, and picking up the pieces that are really nice. So this dress, which you can't really see, is very apt for planting, is one that came from ASOS. ASOS are doing really great stuff, and I bought quite a bit from them lately. I don't know if it's because I'm on their like mega next day delivery thing. This plant had its own pot, but it got smashed, so it just needs a replacement, and I bought this lovely pot a few weeks ago, so perfect situation. Just forgot to measure that. So yeah, it's really a case of trawling and trawling and trawling, and also following good plus size fashion bloggers. So Grace F. Victory, or Callie Thorpe, or Bethany Rutter. All of those people are so bloody brilliant, and I frequently see stuff on their Instagrams or their Twitters or their blogs and think, yeah, that would look good on me, and that's where I buy it. So sadly, it's not as easy as just recommending one or two shops. It is a case of trawling everything and seeing what you can live with. This season has felt, at least to me, like everything's a bit darker, more dingy. I definitely feel that sort of 90s vibe of wearing just like jeans and a jumper or jeans and a t-shirt is back strongly, and I'm not saying I dislike that, because I actually feel very comfortable in that kind of outfit, and so I've been wearing more and more jumpers and t-shirts and trousers, But yeah, it doesn't fill me with joy in the same way that a really beautiful, bright, colourful piece of clothing does. So yeah, there's that. Right, second plant done. Okay, let's see what other questions we've got. Okay, so next question comes from So Holchester, and that is, how far ahead do you plan your blog posts, and how far ahead do you look when setting goals for the business or the blog, etc.? Well, I've had a bit of a year of not actually posting much on my blog. I looked at it the other day and my posts are in single figures, which I feel a bit guilty about because I love my blog, but I've created a vast amount of content this year on my vlog channel, so I feel like it's justified. But poor little housewife is missing the attention, I think. So how far ahead do I plan? Well, I think Brexit has kind of ruined everyone's planning a bit, because it hit us immediately with all the currency changes and companies pulling budget and what have you. And it means that we really don't know what the economy is going to be like in a year or two. So I think planning is a really difficult thing at the moment for my business. I have a firm plan for the next year, but beyond that, I haven't got anything too committed, because I just don't think that it's sensible to look that far ahead when we have this sort of looming massive change coming to the market. Right, I'm just going to water this one quickly, hang on. So gloomy forecasts aside, because there's nothing we can do about that apart from just observe and wait. Planning your blog, I think some of the best things that you can do for that is to just give yourself the ability to have a content calendar that you use all the time right there in your blog. So if you're on a WordPress blog, which I hope you are, you can use the WP editorial calendar plugin. It's bloody genius. It just gives you a month to view, and you can put all of your drafts in, so you can see what titles are coming up, and you can really see what the sort of shape of your content arc looks like over the month. So you can see if you're doing too much of one type of content versus another. Unless I was planning something really seasonal, or like planning based on various launches and what have you, I wouldn't really plan much further than a few weeks, because inevitably, for me at least, my mood changes and I decide that I want to do something else. So that draft ends up sitting forever and ever, and nothing ever happens to it. You just need a bit of soil around the edges, don't you? So yeah, thank you for your question, Rachel. Let me have a look at the next one. So here's a topical question from Jill C. What are good low maintenance plants to get if you have a tendency to accidentally kill all plants? Jill, I hear you. I have been there myself. The childhood years have been particularly harsh on plants in this house. Some of the ones that have survived particularly well for us are the little pilea here. It's pretty indestructible, and it does a good droop when it needs some water if you've forgotten, so it's like a nice visual reminder. The peace lily I absolutely love. I feel like a better plant doesn't exist. I have them all over the house, often in very dark corners. We've got a lot of dark corners in our house. And the peace lily really likes low light, and you don't water it until all of the leaves have wilted quite a bit, and then you just sit it in some filtered water or rainwater, and it sucks it all up, and the leaves just come back to life, and then you leave it alone again until it wants watering, and I have always loved them. African violets are particularly good. I've kept them alive for many years. They're quite nice in sort of bathroomy areas. Classic spider plant, much overlooked but absolutely beautiful, and pretty hardy. What else is good? Snake plant, or mother-in-law's tongue as it's often called. The monstera, very showy, but by all accounts pretty easy to look after. So With the Monstera, you'll probably be looking at watering and position being your biggest challenges there. So it's just a case of making sure that you're watering it from the bottom when it wants to be watered, and that you're not putting it in full sun too much, because that burns the leaves. Oh, you are this poor succulent is very much in need of water. That has been a little bit neglected. So we'll give it a little water once we've done this. But yeah, Jill, good luck. Those hopefully a few plants that will see you out for a couple of years. Who's next? Okay, so Sade in my Sunday Best asks, how do you stay inspired, encouraged with the changing blogging/vlogging landscape? Wow, I think it's really tough out there to stay inspired and motivated, especially if you're looking at what other people are creating and comparing yourself to it. So my first tip for staying inspired and motivated is to put on the blinkers and run your own race. Stay in your lane, do not look left, do not look right, just do your thing. Think about your audience, think about yourself and what you want to create, anticipate your audience's needs, give them what they want, and also a little bit extra every time, and keep going at what you do best. If you start thinking about other people's product and other people's look and other people's ability, that can be really demotivating. So I do think keep that out of people's way and just do your thing. That's not to say don't have friends, but don't let comparing yourself to other people influence you. When it came to vlogging, I kind of knew that I wouldn't stick at it unless I gave myself a really specific goal. So I chose to make a video every week for a year, and I pretty much did it. There's a huge amount of new videos on my channel. It taught me a lot about editing and about finding something interesting, so something that actually sat well on my channel every week. And some weeks I completely missed that, and other weeks I hit it on the head. But then I feel that if you just keep on going, those weeks when you haven't hit the nail on the head, those posts that didn't hit home, or those videos that weren't really well watched, don't matter, because the body of work grows. So it's often about thinking about like the big end goal. What do I want to create overall, not just here and now? But yeah, good luck staying motivated. I love your work, so I'm pretty sure you are going to do great. Who have we got next? Oh no, somebody telling me that the guitarist in Winchester also plays in Guildford. That is handy to know. Okay, so Claire, or Clarice maybe, Clarice, is moving into her first house. Congratulations. She's got some linen curtains that are kind of a rusty coral colour. I will show you a picture in a moment. How can she style them? Style a new room around them. They're huge. They maybe she can cover a headboard with them. She wants to know about colours. Okay, so let me get you that photo up. That looks lovely, doesn't it? That is the actual curtain that Clarice has bought, and so they're like big domineering colours, and I'm guessing from the fact you said maybe you could cover a headboard that they are in your bedroom. So red's actually a very powerful colour to have in your bedroom because it raises the pulse a little, if all of the colour psychology things I've read are true. So one thing I would think about doing is anchoring that red in a very calming colour palette. Now I don't mean beige, by no means is beige a calming colour. It gives me the rage. Beige rage. Okay, we should patent that. Yeah, I think I would look at finding a really nice colour palette to layer that beautiful rich red with, because you want it to sort of be a key hero colour in the space, but not to dominate it. So somewhere I might look is Design Seeds. They do really lovely colour palettes that are based on sort of natural images, so you get really lovely tonality in them, but you'll also get like the deep neutral colours as well as the popping hero colours like that red. Side note, these pots I bought from Habitat maybe 15 or 16 years ago, and I still absolutely love them. They come on like a little tray. I'm really glad to have potted them up again because they've been sat in our shed doing nothing. So yeah, back to colours. I think that it's all about creating a nice harmonious palette for the room. So I would go to Design Seeds, I'd have a look at what colours go really well with that red, and then work that in through your bed linen, the pillows that you put on your bed, maybe a feature rug that you pick, the colour that you put on your walls. So you're bringing that colour into the room, but it's not like overwhelmingly red, because that could be quite a bit when you're going to bed. So I hope that helps you, and happy decorating. Some of the resources that I love are places like Design Sponge and Apartment Therapy, and people like Mad About the House, who have really great blogs filled with design inspiration. I will link all of those below. So Nibble and Bite, what's your name, Nibble and Bite? Secret Nibble and Bite does not have a name. Okay, Nibble and Bite. It says my hair looks gorgeous, thank you. First time on the vlog actually, nice short hair. She would like to know where the best place to find out about setting up a small business is. If your business is small and not meant to make more than pennies, would you need to register yourself as self-employed? Do you need to pay tax? It's all boring stuff, but it's the side of the business that's scaring her at the moment. A local shop would like to stock her bakes. Sounds exciting. And she's working out the costs and packaging, etc, etc, etc. So this is a very exciting time for you, Miss Nibble and Bite. Congratulations on taking the leap into self-employment. And you're absolutely right, it can be a scary side of the business, but if you get it right now and you get everything lined up well now, then you don't need to worry going forward. You know that you've got a solid business base, and you're not going to make the kind of mistake where, I don't know, you forget to put in the VAT one month, which I did. But yeah, if you're setting up a small business, you can start out as a sole trader, which means you're just basically trading as yourself, and you need to put in a tax return as yourself. That tax return would include any income you're getting from other jobs, noted down, but mostly it would be about telling them about the income you're getting as a sole trader in more detail. There are other company structures. Oh, look at that, there's a little baby, hang on. There's a little baby that's propagated. I've just managed to pull it off on a dead leaf. Okay, I need another pot. You can go and sit over here. Right, where were we? So yeah, all of the information you need for this, and different company structures and all of your startup information, the best place to go is actually the government website. So I think it's gov.uk. I will link it below. But they have just all of the best information because they are the government, and they will tell you how to manage all of this. You won't need to do a tax return until the next financial year. So this financial year that we're currently in ends in April, and you don't have to send that in till the following January, and you don't have to pay your taxes on it. So my piece of advice here is, if you suspect you're going to owe tax, you should keep that in a separate account that you cannot touch before you have to pay it, because it is really, really easy to dip into that tax money thinking you'll replace it, and then have a huge panic in January and not be able to pay your tax. So look at this beauty. It's been flowering for months now. So proud of you. I am so proud of you. Is that weird? So yes, that's like where you're going to find the basic information. The next thing I would do is have a look at organisations like Startup Britain and Enterprise Nation, because they will have lots of getting started help articles. I wouldn't necessarily sign up for one of them because, as you say, you might not be making more than pennies at this time, but use all of the free advice that they have and really go to town on your business with that. Other things that you will need to do is to get your kitchen inspected and registered, because you do not want a health and safety visit. They're tedious. You need to make sure you have some kind of invoicing program. I recommend not doing invoices on Word and sending them. I recommend actually using an accounting software. I'm going to link mine below. I've forgotten the name of it. At this moment, but there's some free accounting software that you can use, which means you don't have to pay for it up front, and you only pay if they pay you online. So if they're sending bank payments, that's absolutely fine. You're not going to pay for the software, but if they're paying by card, you are going to pay for it. It just makes life so much easier, and it has templates, and it will have reminders automatically built into it, and you can go onto the dashboard and see who you've invoiced, who's paid, who owes money, all of that, because that side of the business is really easy to overlook and to end up losing money on. So do that. Yeah, I hope that's answered most of your questions. Let me just double check. Oh yes, tax. So let's just quickly go into tax. So you don't have to VAT register until your turnover's at something like over £70,000 a year. I'll flash it up on the screen. Like that's not going to be a problem for you. What you do need to just be aware of is that everyone has a personal tax allowance. So there's a certain amount of money you can use, you can earn over the year without paying any tax. So if you have another job and you earn more than this number on the screen, because I can't remember it, if you earn more than that, then you're going to need to pay tax on the money you earn as your small business. But if you're not currently earning, if you are currently a student or something else, you're not earning money, you have that first chunk of money where you don't pay tax, and then after that, everything you've earned after that chunk, you pay a percentage of tax on. And that, again, is something that your self-assessment form is going to tell you about. And you're not going to be paying that monthly as you would if you were an employee and getting a pay packet. What you will do is pay that once a year, hopefully just once a year, unless the government get their way. But yeah, we'll pay tax once a year. Once you put your self-assessment tax form in, it's due at that point in time. Oh, you're such a little cutie. Okay, but good luck, and if you're in the Worcester area and you need cakes, check out Nibble and Bite, she'll be linked below. Harriet, who is And Project, asks me, you seem to be so upbeat, genuine and lovely all of the time. Please share your tips. Harriet, that's very kind of you to say so. I actually think I come across as really grumpy on social media, so it's nice to hear that I don't. So my number one tip is save the times when you're not upbeat, happy and positive and genuine for offline. So have a good bitch with your offline friends, and then it doesn't stay online. Isn't it ironic? Like 10 years ago, I would have been all like, yeah, if you're feeling miserable, have a good bitch with your online friends. And then you can just get on with your life. And now it's vice versa. Yeah, bitching in real life. If you need to, if something's going wrong in your life and you just need a good moan, get it done, but keep it offline. In terms of being genuine, I think that's just because I am really motivated by making real relationships with people online. So I don't really care very much about things like necessarily growing a humongous audience on false pretenses, such as using follow, unfollow on Twitter. I know people who've got hundreds of thousands of followers just because they go out and follow a lot of people every day. But to me, I'd much rather only find, you know, hundreds of people and make real connections with them, rather than be creating these false relationships, because the numbers don't mean anything. So don't care about your numbers, care about the people who you actually connect with. Yeah, I think that's it. It's just that I really, really like making friends with people. I'm not particularly good at being friends with people. I get it wrong a huge amount of the time, but yeah, my heart is very much in the place of wanting to connect, wanting to make the world a better place, wanting to be part of people's success story. So I'm really excited by the idea of being a catalyst for other people. So if I can help and cheer people on and be that enthusiastic voice when they are doubting themselves, then it's all good. Okay, last question, because I've got to go and get the children from school, and it's a very apt one. So Shraddha, who is cloud busting, says, how do you juggle being your own boss and having a family? Do you have any magic tools or tricks? Man, I wish I had some magic tools or tricks, because it can be hectic at times. Like there's literally 2 minutes until they get out of school, or rather until I have to leave to go and get them from school. I think it's about priorities. So both Mr. Cat and I run our own company, our own companies. We've got separate companies, but that gives us a huge amount of flexibility. We can work from anywhere. If one of us needs to be out at meetings, or Mr. Cat's often at like sort of official things that he has to go and do, then the other one can step into that place. There's not very many times during the year when we have to ask somebody else to come and help us out, because we're both going somewhere. Invariably it does happen, but not often. We really prioritize time with the children, so we don't tend to work over supper time. We will take the children to their classes and chat to them about their day. Mr. Cat does the morning shift, because I'm really terrible at getting out of bed in the mornings. I mostly do hair and yell at people to do their teeth. But yeah, I mean, practicalities aside, I think balancing it all is about giving focused time to whatever you're working on. If I'm working, I want to be focused on that. If I'm with my children, I want to be focused on them and there for them. Now, when I was looking through these questions, I did ask Betsy if she thought we had a good balance, and she says no, she thinks we work too much, which is lovely, but I do think that that comes from a place of a child who has never known anything else except us both working at home and being always available. It's quite different from how I grew up. I grew up being in childcare and having a really miserable time and feeling very much unwanted, and yeah, just not spending much time with my family. And I think that we've created a life where maybe we're not going to be, you know, rich and buy massive houses and go on fancy holidays all the time, but we've created a life where we can be close and support and love each other. And hopefully over the next 10 years, as they turn from children to adults, which is terrifying to think of, that time that we spend with them will pay off. Anyway, speaking of children, I need to go and get them. So thank you for joining me in my plant potting. I now have lots of potted plants to put around the house. I'll do another Q&A video if you like this. Put your questions down below, tell me what you thought, and if you've got any ideas about the questions that I was asked, I'm by no means an expert, so please add your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.